if I sound kind of bad, I'm a bit sick, so yeah, I'm coming over, you know, being sick, so yeah, nasally and all that. So,
To all my MAGA voters who are upset and saying this is not what I voted for, well, you did. Don't you know who I am? I'm me. Even I don't know what I'm going to do next.
currently, a bit of what's known as war is going on. But here's a question: what is all the beef? What is all the beef when it comes to the issues when it comes to Iran? Like, why? So we're trying to discuss some of it, and at the same time, like why do we keep going back and forth and all that? So here's a bit of detail. The Middle East is birthplace of three of the world's major religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The Israel-Palestine conflict, for instance, is rooted in religious and territorial disputes. The Sunni and Shia divided Islam has fueled conflict, as seen in Iraq and Yemen. So basically, like it's a bit of an issue when it comes to religion, but at the same time, it's also fueled by political and economic issues. And we go into the idea of foreign powers. The Middle East has its use of oil is a Middle East is very big when it comes to oil rich nutrients. The Middle East is very big when its use of oil rich nations and has long been a strategic interest for foreign powers. Uh you have the Sykes-Picot Agreement of 1916, where Britain and France divided the Middle East into spheres of influence, set the stage for modern conflicts by creating artificial borders and igniting nationalist movements. And if you want to like look back at some bit of like more recent in a way, back at the new millennium, uh, the U.S. let's look back at the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003.
Cruise missiles and bombs brought tons of high explosive to the heart of Baghdad's administrative district. This was about demolishing Saddam Hussein's symbols of power. They also hit at least one of his presidential palaces.
And also, Russia's involvement in Syria has destabilized the region further, intensifying the conflicts as well. Well, what else though? Well, the Middle East is rich, very big when it comes to oil. And also like say, hey, let's grab it and all that. Uh, so there's always been like the idea of like say, hey, controlling it, and at the same time, like others going like say, hey, we want some of this in the pie. The Iran-Iraq War in the 19 days was the main point of that one was control over the Shiite Al-Harb waterway. And for like say, why is this? Well, it was a crucial route for oil exports. So then, like you also have to get into the impact of colonial legacy. The colonial legacy of the Middle East has also placed a role in like say, hey, how uh conflict is like done in a way. European powers, particularly by Britain and France, carved out the religion without much consideration for the ethnic, religious, and tribal affiliations of the local populace. But you're probably thinking, they say, wait, what does all this have to do with what's going on now? Well, recently, well, like a operation known as Epic Fury was done.
Following our obliteration of Iran's nuclear program in Operation Midnight Hammer a short while ago, We warned Iran not to make any attempt to rebuild at a different location because they were unable to use the ones that we so powerfully blew up. But they ignored those warnings and refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. In addition, the regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically.
The basically whole gist of it was the whole thing of what's known as Epic Fury was it was executed in participation with the regional allies, and basically it was trying to like say, hey, they're trying to like stop a bit of aggression from Iran, a bit of a conflict between folks that are part of the administration, like say whether it's folks from like say Marco Rubio.
You asked me, I was asked a very specific question, so you guys can misrepresent it, but I was asked a very specific question yesterday. The bottom line is this. The president determined we were not going to get hit first. It's that simple, guys. We are not going to put Americans' troops in harm's way. If you tell the president of the United States that if we don't go first, we're going to have more people killed and more people injured, the president's going to go first. That's what he did. That's what the president will always do. He will always put the safety and security of our men and women in uniform and of all Americans before anything else. He's always going to do that, and that's what he did here. In addition to that, I would argue that this threat from Iran, they are hiding behind these missiles and hiding behind these drones.
Deja vu?
So, the president has said that Iran's Air Force and Navy have been knocked out, and that new strikes targeted Iranian leadership. And Israel has also struck a compound belonging to a group responsible for electing Iran's next supreme leader. If you're wondering what was like, say, hey, where's this come from? It was from an Israel source who told CNN. And as well as all personnel when it comes to the embassy, well, it was impacted.
Iranian drones have hit the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, causing damage there. That's according to Saudi Arabia's defense ministry, which says that it also intercepted other drones fired into the kingdom early this morning. Meanwhile, sirens are going off in Bahrain as part of another Iranian attack there. And we're also seeing intense Israeli airstrikes target the Lebanese capital of Beirut.
But all personnel are accounted for after a drone hit the grounds of the U.S. consulate in Dubai. And the U.S. has closed embassies in 3 countries and warned Americans to leave the region. And then the United Arab Emirates said it opened the safe air corridors with its neighbors as countries rush to evacuate stranded nationals and regional travel paralyzed. Back up the point of oil. The president had ordered U.S. insurance and guarantees for ships traveling through the Gulf and suggested the Navy would escort tankers through the Strait of Hormuz if necessary. And the price of gas has increased since 2005 as the war threatens the global economy. So yeah, not good. Each day an update seems to change everything in a way. And I'll be honest, at times, like say, whenever we do see an update, the whole situation does seem to be rather scary. But it's gonna be like, who's to say what the future holds for this situation? Could this, war, could it continue on? Could we be looking back at a repeat of history?